Hey everybody, this is Dr. Dre and Tay with the TV CRE podcast, episode number, and we are at the CREI conference in Orlando, Florida. And today we have the legendary Rod Santomassimo.
He's laying it on thick today. That's
I
right.
think he is. Hey, from when I got into the business, because I started 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago,
Okay.
and the first thing my broker told me is, he goes, "You need to do the Massimo training and the Massimo coaching program." And so it's probably not allowed, but they gave me some packets and some of the stuff that you had walked them through, and I looked over it and read it, and I looked over that and Lipsy and CCIM stuff, and that was some of the first thing I did. I have not officially signed up for the coaching program as of yet, but after hearing you speak today, I can see the needed value that it would provide in my life dramatically.
Well, thank you.
So, yeah, we're at the CREI conference, and we're talking about commercial real estate influencing and social media and all that, and we got to meet Rod. So one of the first things I just want to ask you is, how did you even get started in commercial real estate?
Well, my father was first an architect growing up, and then he was tired of working for someone, which is a theme in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then he became a consultant in real estate. And part of being a consultant was, negotiating contract and leases. So he actually made me read leases when I was 11 or 12
That's
years
incredible.
old.
I love
You would
it.
think so now, but not when you're
Not
12.
then,
But
no.
now when you're
Before
12.
there was ChatGPT, there was your children.
Yes.
That's good.
But he said, Rod, if you can read this lease, you will understand what business is all about.
Mhm.
And he would go through it with me, and I would say, "What a colossal waste of time, Dad! Can I go out and play?"
Right,
yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
But he did. He had me read leases, and so I remember when I went first to college, then to grad school. As I was leaving for grad school, I looked at my dad and I said, "Just so we're clear, I will never be in commercial real estate, never. So we're just clear on that."
Right.
Right? He said, "Have fun."
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so went off to grad school, went off to Duke, loved it. And then like all Duke, this is back now, I'm really old. So this is back in the early 80s. And you guys have
Oh,
no
man.
idea what it was like.
Yeah, but
Back
great
actually-
basketball.
Well, back in the late 80s, when
Yeah.
you went to grad school, and I know Knackle talked about this, everyone wanted to go to New York and do something in New York City. And I'm from New York, so I was going to go back to New York City and I was doing something fantastic. But it was not going to be commercial real estate.
Right.
Can't be.
Can't be.
Yeah.
So I worked for a consulting firm of Arthur Anderson. It's now debunked, but now it's Accenture. But
Okay.
Guess what happens when you work for a corporation? You have no say. You have no choice. You have no decisions.
Right.
Yes.
And so the first year of me working, they called me in and said, "Rod, we got great news for you." And I said, "What's the great news?" They said, "You've done an outstanding job. We're going to give you the highest raise of everyone in your class. What do you have to say?" And I said, "I resign."
Wow.
And they were shocked.
Wow.
Oh, absolutely. Love that.
And they said, "Why?" And
That's
I said, "This just isn't me." And I'd been talking to a friend of my father's who had a small boutique about to break off from Grubb & Ellis brokerage firm in Tampa, Florida. I'd be paid half as what I was making in New York. Half.
Yeah.
My father said, "You might enjoy this more."
Yeah.
So I became a broker.
So how did you get over that
You-
to your dad, that inclination, I'm not going to do commercial real estate? Like, what was the settling moment for you there? Because there had to be a realization of that.
Corporate work.
Corporate work.
Just
Crumbled it
that
out, yeah.
bad.
And during my career, I've gone back and forth. I've done some really odd jobs. I've been a COO of a telecom firm we took public. I've been a CFO of a law firm.
Okay.
And then I've gone back to entrepreneurial stuff. And I was a patent inventor, and I invented a sports watch.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I've done entrepreneurial.
No idea.
Entrepreneurial, then recession hit, get a job.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was my life.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until I really had to put my anchor and say, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And in fact, I said, what do I love to do? Commercial real estate.
Right.
So that was it.
Well, that's awesome. What a great story. What a varied story. You sound like you'd be great on Shark Tank.
Well, here's
With
the
that
deal.
history.
Shark Tank called me.
I can
They
see
did.
it.
Shark
I
Tank-
100% could see
They
it.
did. We invented the sports watch,
Yeah.
my friend and I, and we invented a watch that was built on a Timex platform. Timex was back then was a huge watch manufacturer, and you can scroll the crown, and it would track your weight workouts. And
Yeah.
it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So we got a meeting with Timex.
Yeah.
We walked in, and I did the pitch, and I said, "This is going to change everything." And they said, who the hell would track workouts on a watch?
Oh my God.
How about that?
How
We're
about
before your
that?
time.
How about
Yeah,
that?
that's wild. Everyone's doing it now.
Everyone's
Who
doing
wants
it
to check email from their phone?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
So we gave up on that dream until one day my attorney called me, my patent attorney, and said, Nike is looking at your, she mentioned Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Nike's looking at your patent. They're thinking about doing something.
Wow.
And I said, so what do we do? He goes, do you have $10 million in cash
To sue those guys.
to start
It's
the
your-
lawsuit?
Yeah, it's your
Yeah.
license to sue. Yep.
Good luck.
Let's pass on.
Yeah, right.
Let's pass
Yeah.
on that. I'm going back to my job. So
Yeah.
that was the end of the of
Wow.
that. But Shark Tank, and by the way, for those who don't know, back then Shark Tank, if you said yes to Shark Tank, even if you weren't getting funded, they were taking a big piece of your company.
Oh, really?
It was
Out of the
in-
gate,
it was
just
in-
to have the
it was
opportunity, the
just have-
platform.
It was in the contract.
I never knew that, but that makes 100% sense
100%
now.
sense. So
Yeah.
they don't do it anymore. But when I said that, there's no way we could, I didn't know what I didn't know.
So now you own a company that does professional, high-level commercial real estate coaching for
Right.
brokers who are burnt out and oftentimes overwhelmed, and they don't get to work on their business because they're so busy working in their business.
Yeah,
I feel like
Exactly.
I saw your slides earlier, and I
Right.
kind of resonated.
Yep.
And so, how did that progress and begin, and where is it now?
Sure. So 2008, if we all remember 2008,
Yeah.
Mhm.
great time in real estate, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Brutal.
I was
Yeah.
I was back at a job. I was an executive with a firm called Sperry Van Ness, and I was commuting to California from where I live in North Carolina every week, and basically living without my wife and kids.
Yeah.
But I was working with Mark Van Ness and Rand Sperry, the two owners,
Mhm.
and it was a great learning experience. But then the recession hit, and it was between me and a great guy named Kevin Giacomo to become the next president, and they picked Kevin. And I went to Mark Van Ness and I said, "Thank you." He said, "What do you mean, thank you? I'm letting you go." And I said, "Yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to work for somebody anymore."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went home, and there was a great recession, and and I had two young kids, and there was no jobs to be found. And it's 2008. I mean, people think 2020 pandemic was bad. It was actually worse in 2008 as far as
Yeah.
longevity of. And so I looked at my wife one day, and this is corny. I had a dream that I was going to help brokers be better because I worked with brokers a lot of my career and knew how with them. So I looked at my wife one morning and said, "I think I'm going to start a coaching company." And we really didn't have a choice. It wasn't through desire versus a choice because there was no jobs. So we said, okay. I said, "I think I'll never work for somebody again. If I truly think this is it."
Mhm.
She said, "Okay, well, let's do it."
Yeah.
So yeah, the first year was really tough because no one had money to get coached. No
Yeah.
one.
Right.
But a couple of like people I knew from Sperry Van Ness, I said, "Look, would you?" I'm embarrassed to tell you what they paid me. It was so low.
Yeah.
So if you just give me a couple $100 a month, and
Yeah.
it was pathetic, but it helped us not lose all our money the first year. And I think in the second year we almost broke even, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But I was working, literally 18 to 20 hours a day because I was the accountant, the janitor.
Oh, you're wearing
I
all
was
the
everything.
hats.
Right.
That's right.
My
The
wife was,
entrepreneur.
yeah, but my wife was the CFO, and my wife has a great background in tax, so she understood the finances. She still today runs all the finances for our company. Thank God.
Yeah.
I can make money.
Yeah.
I can make money, but as far as managing it, I'm not that good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it just started working out. And then I said in 3 years, I said, no, I probably should write a book about how to help brokers be brokers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I wrote a book called Brokers Who Dominate. My first book, that was a hit. It worked. And then, but during that book process, I was introduced to Bob Knackel. And I said, "Who the hell is Bob Knackel?" I did. And Bob Knackel is one of the best brokers in the world. He just is. And so I went to Bob's office, and Bob allows me to share this. He does. So it is what it is. He was grossing $6 million. Okay. And he called me and said, "Well, he goes, what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm a broker coach." He said, "What the hell's that?"
Right.
And I
Right.
said, "Well, we help brokers make more money and do so in less time." And so he said, "Come talk to me." I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you both. When a $6 million broker says, "Come talk to me," my first thought was, what the hell can I help
What
this
can I
guy
do
with?
for this
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah. What kind of coaching does he need? Yeah.
Everyone
Right.
wants to be him.
That's right.
'Cause
That's right.
Now I'm still a rookie coach. I'm 3 years into it,
Wow.
Yeah.
right? So I went up there and I watched him for 2 days. And I think it's like every profession and every broker, definitely, I couldn't believe how much money he was leaving on the table just watching him for 2 days.
Mhm.
He was so involved in the transaction, he wasn't looking at the business elements
Yep.
and what the money he was leaving on the table.
Yeah.
So we sat down, I gave him a plan. I said, I think we could do some things. And then in the second year, he made $12 million, which so we doubled his
Doubled it
income.
in one
Yeah.
year.
And then in the third year, now the market was getting really back to where it was going. So
Yeah.
it wasn't all the coaching. I'm not going to take
It was
credit for
revving
that.
up.
It was revving up. But in the third year, he made $18.4 million.
Yeah, that's a
So we tripled his incredible income in 3 years.
Wow.
And he said, I think this is working.
I think it's going pretty
Pretty
good.
good. So I said, yeah, you think? It's going pretty well. But what happened though, entrepreneurial wise, is, and this happens in everyone, and this happened when you also building your practice. I was still holding 20, 25 clients because now people said, oh, crap, you coach Bob Knackle?
Yeah.
And they said, you must be decent.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think I am, but
That's right. It's
Yeah.
working. Whatever
Yeah.
we're
Working.
doing.
And yeah, we became better coaches. We did. But then I couldn't coach at that level anymore for all the clients we're starting to get. So we started hiring. First, we hired an admin. The most
Okay,
important thing
yeah.
you could hire is an admin.
Yeah.
And then we started slowly hiring coaches and teaching them the methods I was producing.
Yeah. And you had to have systems in order to teach the
Had
methods.
to have systems.
Yep.
In fact, we'd share with people, you should hire people, but before you hire them, you better have processes.
You need to have processes in
Because if
place.
you don't, what happens? What happens is,
Yeah, they're going to come in and flounder.
and say what?
And they're going to say, it's your fault. You didn't
Well,
teach me.
what do I need to do?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Well,
you-
if they don't succeed, you didn't set them up to succeed.
I didn't, right. I
Yeah,
didn't
so you couldn't win.
Right.
So you have to have the processes in place before you bring the people in.
Yeah.
We learned that the hard way. And that's what we coach with our clients. And then now we have 31 coaches
Wow.
and clients. And we just signed a 8-figure client in Australia the other day. So, and not all our clients, no, all our clients they're not Knackle and 10-figure clients.
No.
Sure.
They're
Yep.
not. We have clients that are just starting out. We have clients that are, making $30,000. We have programs for them. So, but our goal is to everyone to become a 7-figure producer.
So it sounds like you're passionate about this, and your passion came from wanting to do something to help people hit their goals, and also to help you have more time with your family and not be controlled, right?
Yeah.
By an environment.
I think like all things in entrepreneurs, your first thing is I got to pay my bills,
Mhm.
Yep.
and then that was
Number one.
it. That was the goal, and everyone taught me this and told me this, and I didn't believe it. But then you start making money, and then you say it's not enough, and it's a hell of a lot of money,
Mhm.
and then you start making more money. You make your first millions, you make the next millions, and then you're making multiple millions of dollars a year, and you think, I don't care anymore about the money. It's the money. We realized then the money wasn't the thing that made me drive. It was changing lives.
It's the passion.
It's the
behind
passion. It's more the changing lives.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing we think about all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's your legacy.
It is.
It's what you leave behind.
That's what we leave
It's the
behind.
thing that it doesn't matter how much money you have when you passed away. It's all the people's lives that you changed to get there. When you're getting there.
I follow 3 particular podcasters, gurus. One is Adam Grant, who has a beautiful podcast called Work Life. Adam Grant is a multiple-time recognized Wharton School of Business faculty member of the year. And he defines success as your success is who you make successful, pure and simple.
Mm.
It's not the money.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not the likes. It's not the followers. If you can make people successful, you're doing good.
It's like the book, The Go-Giver. Yeah.
Right. And we've had
concept.
Bob Berg.
Yeah. Bob
the
Berg.
Go-Giver. He's been in our podcast.
Yeah.
Great guy,
Wonderful.
but beautiful book.
Yeah.
Beautiful book.
It's wonderful. Yeah. So we're here at the CREI conference.
Yeah.
And you breached a topic that gave me anxiety, to be honest. It was like a weird metamorphosis from excitement to anxiety, back to anxiety and excitement. It's back and forth. So this topic of artificial intelligence and tools that are going to change the commercial real estate brokerage landscape dramatically. You made claims of in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, in the next year, and for some slower brokers, it might eliminate their business completely.
It not might,
And
it will.
It will eliminate,
It will.
and it's going to level the playing field potentially between non-affiliated brokers with large agencies and independent brokerages, and so it was an hour-long presentation that was exceptional and covered a lot of tools, and we can put a link to the
tools.
to the
You can,
to
you
the
can,
tools.
yeah.
I can put a
yeah.
link in our podcast notes here, but maybe just give a overreaching summary of how you see AI transforming the commercial real estate atmosphere for brokers.
Yeah.
or the field in general?
It was the field in general.
Yeah, that's probably good.
Anything we rely heavily, and everyone should rely on delegation.
Right.
Dan Sullivan wrote the book Who Not How,
Mhm.
and then he and his Dr. Benjamin Hardy wrote the book 10x is easier than 2x. It's all about what do you do in your day,
Right.
and what you shouldn't be doing for a massive impact on what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And so what AI allows you to do is delegate things you either don't want to do or you really don't need to
Right.
do anymore.
Right.
And yes, unfortunately, it also means it will displace low-level task workers. It will,
Yes.
and it has already,
Yeah.
and it will continue to do so, because AI bots can do almost any of those tasks right now today.
Right.
So, but here's the thing, it's exciting too. It really is.
It is
It
exciting.
allows you to work on bigger things and bigger deals and higher impact. And so you're not going to be dragged down by the things you really don't want to do. So one exercise we did this morning was, what is your not to do list?
Oh, totally. Yeah, we
Right.
went through it, went around the table, talked about all the things that are a time suck. And yeah, thinking about being able to approach your day without having to do those things, a game changer.
Yeah.
Like I think you hear it as delegate and elevate in some books too, right? Where you
Right.
delegate things and you elevate what you can do.
And one of the things when you said that, I thought one of the things I take a lot of time to do is on listings that I currently have, I'll do a biweekly or weekly update with a market update included. And so if I could use AI to generate the market update, if I could take the data from Crexi, LoopNet, and the other services and show the open rate of brochures, the visit rates, compile the data from the amount of action on each listing, and then I could use one of the softwares that you were showing, how I can use an avatar to create a video to then present the data with an avatar speaking the data that I used the artificial intelligence to compile and send that to them. Not only is it a better product getting to them, it's taking less time to do it, and it's transforming the way that business is done in our community, and it's like giving me a higher level of professionalism, period. And no one else is doing it.
There you go. It just totally elevated
Yep.
what you can do now.
Yeah, and for our viewers, yeah, you gave us an example of, was it 4 different images that were generated from artificial intelligence, and they all looked incredible.
All lifelike.
And then 2 examples of an avatar, or 3 examples of an avatar speaking with
Personalized videos.
personalized videos.
So you could now, if you had a listing or an opportunity, you would take it out to the market. You could do a personalized video to every investor in your database. Call them by their first name and say, "I know you invest in these type of properties," and it could be you,
Yeah.
or it could be an avatar,
Right.
but it's a personalized video. It's not, "Here's my property package. What do you think?"
Yeah.
Those days are gone.
Right. But there's no way you could individually record a video for each of those people,
you
right?
could.
Personally. I mean, but it would take.
You could, yeah, but how long will that take you?
Take you.
Right.
Right.
So if you can find a way to update and upload your data into the system with your objective client list, or get that list put in the system with their names and their email addresses, and then you have all your property data, your packet, and then you can have the images of you taken, right? And it can create a video of your mouth moving and speaking.
And in addition to that, now, as we demonstrated earlier today, now you can also have bots have conversations with humans
Yes.
on the property and answer the questions they're going to ask without you having to answer those questions 1,000 times,
Yep.
right? Potentially qualify the investors, schedule tours,
Right.
get them to the deal room. So now, think about, you said earlier, you said, "I can get information to my owner." Imagine you went to your owner in not 3 months, but in 3 days.
Mhm.
Well, we talked to 10,000 people, and of that, we now have that many offers. This many. They're going to say to you, "How the heck did you do this?"
Yes.
You go,
And then word's going to spread because
Word's
owners
gonna
talk to
spread.
owners.
owners talk to owners.
100%.
And so tell the story about the guy who goes home for dinner.
Yeah.
And-
So
Yeah, that was
tell you-
cool.
Yeah. So we're developing it, and this is not we're developing this internally because I see it. I see it, and I sensed it. And for the audience, listening, I'm 60 years old. So if an old guy like me could say, "There's something there," all the young listeners can understand there's something there. So we developed a campaign around a listing that one of our clients has, one of our coaching clients. And I work with a young developer, and And a lot of people, we just say, okay, I tell the young developer, Rod, you want to pay me this? No, let's start another company and do it. I love partnering with people and starting things, make them feel like they're owners.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're going to do this thing, and we tested. We went out to, in this case, new listing. We just beta tested 200 individuals, actual investors. We told our client, go home, have dinner with your wife, play with your kids, go to bed. Let's see how we're doing tomorrow morning. And he did. And then he woke up and had those 200 emails, texts, voicemail drops, bot chats with real investors, 75 conversations.
Mhm.
Now, how long would that take you to have 75 conversations?
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Right.
month,
Each
couple months,
conversation is
just
5
depends.
minutes.
Right.
So
And
put it together, 350 minutes.
If you
You
connect,
get them. Yeah, scheduling is
connect
such a
and
pain.
schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had the bot do scheduling for tours. We had the bot to direct them to the deal room, and then we had the bot talk to them about their questions. One of the people asked, "I'm going on vacation. Can I talk next week?" And the bot said, "Well, have a great vacation."
Yeah.
The
And let's schedule an appointment when
and
you're
let's
back.
schedule when you get
I
back.
know.
Wow.
It's incredible.
So now, again, as I share, we do let the investors know it's a bot.
Right.
So one of the investors said, "Can you get me coffee and a donut?"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the bot said, "I can't." The investor said, "That's cool. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Can you get me an appointment?" So
That's okay. They don't essentially care if it's a human. A lot of people want the data. They want the
the data.
information to make
They've
their
got to
decision.
fit things into their pipeline, their process. The sooner
right.
you can get that started, the better.
And there was 2 offers.
And there's 2 offers. And
Yeah.
there's 2 and 6 tours. And 6 tours.
6 tours set up.
overnight.
And the dude, he had to jump on the system and so look, you always have to be careful
That's okay.
what people are saying when you start out. But he had to answer some clarifying questions, and the bot will learn from what he answered.
Mhm.
And so he spent less than an hour, and you said weeks.
Right.
He did it in an hour.
Right.
And so
Yeah, I think about our turnaround time in our field, and typically I would say a turnaround time from when someone signs a listing agreement to getting a listing out is probably 2 weeks time within the brokerage community. So if you can have AI create a landing page for you, do marketing,
It can.
generate the verbiage,
It can.
generate the buyers list, doing
It
all
will.
this, and it shortens the time down. If you're doing that within 24 hours for a client, I don't know who can compete with that.
No.
And
So,
the cream rises to the top.
Now let's take a different example. So we're going to do this next,
Yeah.
right? Before you get the listing, imagine this, right?
Okay.
Taylor, before you get the listing, you're about to have a meeting. And you walk into that meeting and you said, "Oh, by the way, I put this out to 1,000 investors, and here's the feedback from the 1,000 investors before we talk."
And you can bring in all that data,
Bring in
process
all the
it.
data, bring the data. This is what they're thinking. This is what the pricing is going to be. This is the feedback we're getting. Do you want to give me the listing or not? What are they going to say?
When you're versus the 2 guys who come in and said, "I looked it up on Google Earth."
And I can get this out to the market in 3
Yeah.
weeks and do this and this.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, this guy already talked to 10,000
Wow.
investors.
I don't know how you compete
I don't know how you
at
compete.
that point.
But that's where we are today.
Yeah, and so there's going to be a reckoning of people who choose to integrate with AI and people who don't.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's going to be a leveling, really, of the competition and a transformation of the industry, of lots of industries. But in our industry, this is how we will see it go down.
Yeah.
Something that I've been thinking about, I wanted to get your thoughts on, Rod. So the AI situation is constantly changing. You mentioned that today. And
Every day.
as you're building these campaigns and having these bots kind of bring in different AI solutions, how are you keeping things flexible enough to adapt as AI adapts?
Yeah, you have to define what platform you're going to build on, right? So we use a pretty established platform to interact with the emails and the text and the AI bots, and that will change.
Mhm.
It will. The big firms will have to create their own,
Okay.
but we stick to things we know are tried and true
Okay.
first. And I know things are going to change.
Yeah.
And I know my AI bot that can do certain things today. Well, that AI bot that does things. Well, look, this happened yesterday, right? So at Massimo, with our clients, if they go onto our system, they can go on their phone, go on the system, and they ask their bot. We have now bots at our coaching. The bot will talk to them. The bot's been talking to them for 3 weeks now, right?
Okay.
And but they have to type, but the bot has been talking to them. But ChatGPT yesterday announced speech is coming next week.
Yep.
So you'll talk on your phone.
Speech to text.
No,
Text to speech, or is it just speech to speech?
Speech.
Wow.
It'd be a conversation. Be you and Alexa having a really
Wow.
deep conversation.
And ChatGPT now can utilize internet from the or data from the internet
Now they
after
can.
2021.
Right.
So it's going to be up to date
Up to date.
data.
So this is the future. This right here's the future.
Mm-hmm.
We all have. I'm sure you have chat on your phone. Okay, you have chat on your phone. And you'll go to your chat and you say, "Hey, you call your chat. You make some name, right? Hey, Trey, you know, just met with Taylor. I want to do this and this. Put it in my calendar. Oh wait, send an email to so and so. Say this in the email. Make it sound like this. And by the way, don't forget, got dinner with the wife today. Make reservations at so and so. Get back to me." And just like the guy going to sleep, all that will be done.
It's incredible.
Wild.
All that will be done.
I just see so much because I have a mental health background now. I see people saying, "Hey, I'm really struggling with anxiety, and this is what I'm having a hard time with. Can you?" And it's going to metamorph into a support system for so many people in different ways. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
And that's the scary part.
Yeah.
There are already. I read about AI. I spend
AI
at least,
therapists.
well, yeah, and I would spend at least an hour and a half a day on AI because I really believe this is where we're all
Yeah.
headed. And there are therapists already for everyone.
Well, there's going to
If you
be
want-
and doctors, and there's going to be all kinds of things, right? There's going to
Yeah,
be.
but I'm not there where I can get if I had a child that had mental illness, right? I would say, hey, let's do this. I'm not there to
Yeah.
so convinced that an AI
Right.
bot is going to help there yet.
At that personal level.
Right, it's that.
But some
Deeply
people are going to
necessary.
be there with their commercial real estate business. Some
Yes.
people are going to be at that point where they're like, I don't trust it. I think it could say something I don't want it to say. It could give me something. It could,
Oh, it could.
Yeah.
It could go rogue.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And they call it hallucination. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
An AI hallucination.
But I would rather have 999 people reached and then one person that had a hallucination on,
Right.
And then still not worry about
Right.
it.
Yeah, from a
'Cause it's
business
still-
standpoint,
Right.
yeah. But if you're dealing with a personal situation,
Yeah,
that
it's a
risk
little
may not
different.
be
like my child. I don't want to try
small
rogue
enough.
on a child
Yeah,
or something
yep,
like
yep.
that. So it's
But look,
interesting.
the world's changed. The world's absolutely changed, and we have to. It's not adapt. We have to adopt. We have to take full
Yeah.
ownership of this thing and say, okay, this is where we are. How can I, integrate it in what I do to continue to grow my practice?
right.
And there was a website you said AI for everything.
Yeah, there's an AIforthat.com.
Okay, there's an
Yeah,
AI
spell
for
it out
that.com.
with no apostrophe because it's a website.
Okay.
There's an AIforthat.com. And you type in, I want to do this, and it will say, okay, then go to this and do this.
Well, you had me at least abstracting. I was like,
Yeah,
there is
but-
something out there can abstract
But
leases.
you don't need this. That's the crazy thing. You don't need. There is the least abstract AI platform.
Yeah.
But with ChatGPT 4.0 and Claude, you don't need it.
You can do
Right.
that now.
And because the least abstract costs you $25 a least abstract,
Oh.
which is phenomenal.
Right.
Don't get me
Good
wrong.
price.
It's
Yeah.
phenomenal. But ChatGPT 4.0 or Claude AI, now again, it's
You
public.
just ask it to search.
It's public.
So you need to
Yeah.
have your own personal database that
You
you're
gotta
putting the
know.
leases
You
into.
gotta know, right? But you can upload. And I've done it. You
Yeah.
can upload a lease and say abstract this lease, and it does a great job.
So just because data is public, what does that mean? Like when it goes
means that
into
it's learning from your data.
but can someone else, can my competitors go find that lease?
Yeah, can someone type in? Look, I put one of my books in there. I did to check
Yeah.
it out. I don't care, right?
Yeah.
Can someone say, look up, knowing isn't doing, or brokers who dominate, chapter 5? And maybe not. And will they? Probably not,
Yeah.
right? Or I know that Trey just did this leak with so and so. Can you look at? Yeah, probably not, right?
Yeah.
But both platforms, Claude and more so, ChatGPT is developing a small business enterprise system. So you will have a private portal. So it will use their chat
Kind of the
technology
back
in
end,
the back
yep.
end, but it will not allow your stuff to go out
Flow
to
into
public.
that.
will
Yeah.
not happen.
But it will still learn from your
We'll
stuff
learn from your stuff
for your
you.
proprietary.
And you can teach it, as you kind of
Right.
alluded to today. You can kind of
Gosh.
teach it to speak in your voice, and you can
Right.
kind of teach it your branding materials, your mission, your vision, and then
which you have to.
over time,
Yep.
it learns to speak like you, truly.
Yeah.
That was a great thing that you mentioned, Eddie, too, was building, and I can't remember the exact word they used for it, but building your document that shows everything about your focus.
Your profiles. You call it profile doc, but it's really your profile manifest.
Yeah.
Because that's if whatever you put in chat or Claude anything, if you and I put in the same prompt,
Hmm.
we're getting the same answer.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're not going to sound very unique,
That's right.
but you may think you sound great, but you don't.
Mhm.
You're you.
Hmm.
But if you create a true manifest of who you are, who you serve, how you serve them, what's their fears, what's their frustrations, what's their goals. It's a major document.
Right.
And
Now
you can
there-
use AI to create that
You
document
can use it to create
on
the
some
document.
level, right?
You can.
Because
you absolutely can.
some people may not have the market knowledge to know
Right.
how to go out and find out what
No.
their designated
And
segments.
then you can
spheres
edit
are.
it and say, no, that's not. It's more like this. You can actually teach AI to create it for you.
Oh, yeah.
There is a developer. It's not public yet. There is a developer doing this right now. But once you can get that document into your preferred platform, all your responses are going to look incredible.
Yeah.
It's like, you wrote that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
So, how many kids do you have?
I have 2.
Okay, so your dad,
Mhm.
when you're a little boy, gets you on abstracting leases. You hate it. You're a dad now. What are your kids doing? What are you having your kids do to prepare for the future in this realm? Because it's your job to prepare them for this, whatever's coming in the future.
Well, I
you know?
have a daughter who's in marine biology, so we're showing her the science elements,
Mm-hmm.
and there are research bots that can help from an academic perspective to
Okay.
do things, right? So we're showing her what tools are available, whether the institution or her future grad school allowed her to use them, which they probably will, because
Yeah.
you have to adapt. That's a different story.
Mm.
And I have a son, and this is a great question, by the way, because I have a son who is in college and majoring in game design and storytelling.
Wow.
And that's a truly creative
Yep.
element, right?
Yeah.
Drawing the characters, drawing the story. Well, chat does that now.
I know.
It draws all the characters and it can create all the stories.
Right.
So to that generation, like for him and for anyone in that generation, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. I worked my whole life to do this, and now my job just evaporated. But we're teaching him, no, that's not what happened. What happens is here are the tools to help you create the
better at it.
characters, to get the storytelling. You have to learn these tools, no matter how much you feel about you. Just like my father giving me leases and me saying,
Yeah.
please don't, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm giving them tools to say, this is what you have to learn.
Yeah, I just wonder if we're going to come to a point where it's like there'll be a stamp like human generated or bot generated, and like how we like organic food, like people are going to be like, I want a human generated something or another eventually someday. It's interesting to think about where
I think we will get to the point where we'll have to, if there's anything that's AI generated, and some countries are doing this already, it has to be disclosed. This is an AI. Just like we had that AI bot talk to the investors, we changed it to say, this is an AI bot.
Yep.
We don't want you to fool you as a human.
Yeah.
You have
I like that discretion. I appreciate it. And I think if people were to figure that out and it wasn't disclosed, I think it creates a lack of credibility.
Oh,
It
lack
does.
of trust for sure.
It absolutely does.
I know you're short on time, Rod.
Yeah.
You got a meeting at 6, right?
do.
And here we are at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
How can folks get a hold of you?
MassimoGroup.com, MASSIMO-group.com. Check us out. We'd love to talk to you. And
Yeah. that's
Trey,
great.
this is awesome.
Thanks for joining the show. It's fun.
Thanks for
Thank you
taking
so
time.
much.
We appreciate it very
Thank
much.
you.
Yep.
Have
That's
a
it.
good day.